Ahoy hoy, and welcome back to On the Bench Watches, where we are back after a short hiatus, which has seen us acquire a new shooting space, some new lighting, and a ton of beautiful watches to get through. The subject today being a question which cropped up with myself and my colleagues quite recently, being come the apocalypse, what are you going to grab? Now, I assume that they were more thinking about things like bug-out bags and other equipment, but being a watch guy, my thoughts were, what watch am I going to be taking with me? For me, it was a fairly easy choice. It was this, the Casio G-Shock Mudmaster. We're going to go through the differences, the upgrades, the upsides, and the downsides to the watch. As ever, this is not an unboxing video. The watch inside has been used and thoroughly tested, but then reboxed, just so you know exactly what you're getting. Inside the box, we will find half a tree, consisting of several pretty similar warning labels, which all essentially tell you don't fiddle with this thing until you've set the local time city. This is followed by your warranty card, which should be stamped by the shop you bought it from, and then an extremely comprehensive guide to how to actually use the thing. Underneath that we have my receipt, and then the watch tin itself. Inside the tin we have the Mudmaster itself. Now, it is smaller than the 1000 series that it takes over from. It's 54.4mm wide, which is down from 56, and it's 16.1mm thick top to bottom, down from 18, and it also has 200 meters of water resistance. This unit is solar powered, and once the battery is charged, it has a life of about 6 months. You can also set it to sleep mode overnight, so that extraneous functions shut down, preserving the battery even further. It requires very little light to charge this unit. Therefore, in our apocalyptic wasteland, even if you are in a nuclear winter, you should be able to get our charge on this very, very easily. The core guard has been upgraded to forged carbon, and this you can see here on the points around the side and at the top next to the G-Shock emblem. Where they haven't upgraded to forged carbon is on the sides. I can only assume that this is due to the embossed writing that they have on these sides, meaning that it may be too tricky to get this embossing done in forged carbon, because forged carbon, while it's incredibly smooth and a really tough material and very, very pretty, it can be awkward to work with at times, and I think that's why these parts have remained plastic. This upgraded model retains its analog hands, with lume across both hands, also the 12, 3, 6 and 9 positions, and the indices in between. This sits over a small analog screen, which can be used for time or date, 24-hour clock, world time, also environmental data being fed from the triple sensors on the outside. All of this sits behind a sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating. We have 5 buttons around the screen, providing shortcuts to the main features of the watch. The first 3 activate a one-time snapshot of the triple sensor of the watch, which is the compass, the barometer and the altimeter. The 4th activates the light, and the 5th allows us to scroll through the main features of the digital screen at the bottom. As per previous models, these bumpers or wrist guards hug the wrist very well, which means that even though it is a very large watch at 54.4mm, it will sit very nicely on smaller wrists. If you're in possession of larger wrists, not a problem, they will simply fold outwards and continue to hug the arm very well. It is an extremely secure watch once you've got it on. The strap is resin, 20mm wide, extremely tough and also textured, which makes it very easy to pick up when wet. On the opposite side, we have a double tooth buckle. Now this works much better than a traditional single tooth buckle in spreading the pressure from these prongs across the whole strap. Keeps it extremely secure on your wrist when you're wearing it, even when you are jogging, running around, climbing, etc. This thing is not going to slip or move. G2000 is available in 3 colours at the moment, and really all that changes between these is the colour of the strap and the colour of the accents that you have around the side of the watch. But what else has changed between this and the previous 1000 model? To start with, those of you who own the 1000, if you flip it off your wrist, turn it over and have a look at the back, you will see that the back is a distinctly different shape on this upgraded model. Next, we've moved from a diamond pattern, which we did find on the push buttons on the previous model, to a concentric circle design. And as we've already said, the core guard has been upgraded to forged carbon. So what does it do, and why am I choosing this for my Apocalypse watch? Well, first of all, the power source. As we've said, it's solar, which means I've not got to worry about finding a battery shop in a few years' time in my post-apocalyptic environment. Yes, watch batteries are not difficult to change, however the seals in them can be more tricky. Therefore, this is a very attractive option, or any other solar-powered watch. On top of the solar power, in no particular order, we have a digital compass, an altimeter, a barometer, a stopwatch, a countdown clock. We have a recall mode as well. We have a world timer. Various cities around the world are labelled along the outside of the bezel, and simply by selecting these from the main menu, it will automatically set the watch to the nearest time zone. It's also radio controlled, which means that at night it will reset itself to make sure the time is exactly accurate. You do need to be in range of a radio control mast. On top of those features, we have the standard push light, and also Casio's favourite trick, the wrist activated light. When you turn your wrist at night, you can set it so the light comes on automatically. You can also easily toggle it off with the crown. And coming to the crown, this does not operate like it would do on a standard watch. It is not particularly for setting the time, though it can be done via that. It's effectively a scroll wheel for the computer screen at the bottom. Unscreen the crown, pull it out, and then cycle up and down to select the features that you want. It's actually quite easy once you get the hang of it. Regarding the features of the watch, if I were to carry on with how to use them, this video would probably be about an hour long. So my advice to you, check out YouTube. You will find some really good how-to videos on how to access the different features that the watch provides. There are a few things to bear in mind with this watch. Now, my colleagues didn't exactly state which apocalypse they were thinking about. I assume zombie, and this would be my absolute go-to. However, if you were caught up in an apocalypse that involved modern warfare, this might give you pause because it is digitally run. Now, if you're in a war zone where EMPs are getting thrown about, an EMP, an electromagnetic pulse, is liable to fry the best part or all of this watch, rendering it a lump of plastic on your arm. I still take this as my first choice, however I would have a manual wind or automatic in the bug out bag or Bergen just as a backup. Next, we've got to talk about the strap. Now, this won't be anything new for Casio owners, but if you've never owned one of these before, these bumpers or wrist guards on the Casio effectively make it impossible to put a NATO or another type of strap on this watch without having an adapter kit. The adapter kit comes with an Allen key, spring bars and replacements for these bumpers to allow you to wear a NATO or a normal strap with it. Why Casio don't include these in the tin, I have no idea. Without them, you have to buy an aftermarket adapter kit, as I said, to be able to get the strap off, unless you want to replace it with a like-for-like strap directly from Casio. Okay, some people may need to do that if the strap is damaged, but most people just want to wear it with a NATO or a different strap. With all other models, it's not a problem. They're out there to be bought. But as this particular G-Shock is only about 4 months old at the time of recording, no one makes them yet. I'm sure they will come out at a particular point in the future, but until that point in time, it's a case of you, me, and everyone else who owns one waiting until somebody does make one, and then we can get this strap off. I personally will change it because while it's not the most uncomfortable strap in the world, it's not particularly comfy as well. It's quite solid. This writing all over the side, for me, it's a little bit gaudy, and I do prefer wearing watches like this on nylon. The next bear in mind is the operation of the watch itself, and in particular the instruction manual and learning how to use it. Now, if like me you're dyslexic, you might have problems with the operation of this watch and getting your head around this instruction manual. Casio's website is simply a digital reproduction of this. It's very difficult for me to use. However, there are some very good videos on YouTube, as we've already said. So for the how to use the different parts of the watch, I personally wouldn't recommend using this. If you are a visual learner or a kinesthetic learner, ditch this, put it away, get on YouTube and watch somebody talking you through how to work the watch. The next thing to say about this watch is be careful which one you're buying. Both this one, the 2000, and the previous model, the 1000, are concurrently available on websites for near enough the same price. Therefore, if you do want this updated one, just check that the serial number has the 2000 in the middle, not the 1000. However, if you do want the previous model without the carbon and with a larger size, it is still freely available today. And finally, with our bearing minds, it may just be a little bit busy for some people. It has a phenomenal amount of features, many of which people won't use. And if you're looking for a watch that you are using for a lot of outdoors work, that you want to be able to track things on, have a large digital screen that you can see readouts of the ground, readouts of barometers, this just won't do it. You might be better off with a cheaper model like the ProTrek, or going for something much more digital like a Garmin. However, the question with this watch was apocalypse. Therefore, this one gets my vote. So in the end, what do I think about it? It's an incredibly competent watch which does everything I want it to do. Therefore, it is my number one in terms of an apocalypse watch. It's also my number one when I'm going walking, up in mountains, out in hills. I will take this absolutely as my first choice. The watch itself is nearly £700, so it's not a cheap investment, but it genuinely does do everything that it says on the tin. There are cheaper options out there. You have the Rangeman that also has the triple sensor, and you have the ProTrek that also has the triple sensor. So don't be too despondent if it's a little bit out of the range. Also, as the 1000 series start to get a little bit more distant from the release of this one, you might find old stock going for a cheaper price. I even found this one, the 2000 series, being offered at a 20% discount, which really did make a difference. So shop around if you are looking to buy one of these. Buyer beware, there are fake G-Shocks out there, there are fake Mudmasters, so buy from a reputable dealer. But once you've got one, combine this with a decent multi-tool on your belt, a set of Gore-Tex and some good boots, yeah, you're good to go. But what do you think of it? What's your choice for an apocalypse watch? Is this a worthy successor to the 1000 series? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Please do let me know. Get involved in the comments below and we'll see what you think. And as ever, if you have enjoyed the video, please do consider a like, a subscribe. It does all help. It helps the video appear in the search engine when people are looking for a particular watch that I've reviewed. And I will see you in about 2 weeks' time with something a little bit special.